to Channel 3rd Period IBHL Economics News. You're here with Deborah Aronowitz, your favorite news anchor. Today we will be discussing the 4 very super important factors of production as well as the very super important circular flow model. Take it away, Mallory.
Thanks, Deborah. The factors of productions are inputs that are used in the production of goods or services in order to make an economic profit. The factors of productions include land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship.
Land is any natural economic resource or anything that comes from the earth that is found within a nation that is used for production purposes. Land is typically a limited resource, thus it must be used wisely. Examples of land as a factor of production includes timber, land, fisheries, farms, and other natural resources that are turned into consumer goods.
Labor represents the human capital that takes raw resources and materials in order to create products and provide services. Labor includes any individuals whomst are able-bodied and capable of providing their work and various services to businesses. Human capital can be improved by training or education to become more efficient and productive. Examples of laborers include farmers, construction workers, firefighters, Menchie's frozen yogurt workers, and economics teachers.
An entrepreneur is an individual who is not working as an employee, but rather creates and manages a small business, taking all risks and rewards associated with their business in the process. They are generally seen as a business leader and innovator of new ideas and the business processes. Entrepreneurs are crucial to the 4 factors of production because they are the start to every business.
Capital is all of the major physical assets that individuals and businesses utilize in order to produce goods and services for consumers in our economy. It includes all of the buildings, production facilities, machines, furniture, and equipment used in the process of production. Examples include computers and telephones, ovens and refrigerators, and of course, humans.
And this is our FOP song.
Land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship, entrepreneurship. Land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship, entrepreneurship. These are all the things firms use. Land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship, entrepreneurship. Land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship, entrepreneurship. Land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship, entrepreneurship. These are all the things firms use. Land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship, entrepreneurship.
All right. Moving on to the circular flow model. The circular flow model is a simple model which demonstrates the economic relationships between household, resource markets, product markets, and businesses. These relationships include exchanges in the corresponding flow of money in the economy. The circular flow shows the money as it is being exchanged for goods and services. Aside from the exchanges and flow within the economy, there are also corresponding leakages and injections of money leaving and entering the economy, respectively.
Within a circular flow model, there are 2 markets. A market is any structure that allows buyers and sellers to exchange any type of goods, service, or information. The resource market is a market where households provide their resources and a business can go and purchase those resources to produce goods and services.
The product market is a market in which a business sells their finished goods and services, and a household can go purchase those goods and services.
The household provides or supplies all 4 factors of production, which are the 4 categories of resources, including land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship. These are needed to provide to the resource market to make goods. Households also purchase goods and services from the product market. In a simple summary, the households supply in the resource market and demand in the product market.
Businesses demand in the resource market and supply in the product market. They get their resources from household suppliers in the resource market and then use those resources to create products that will be sold in the product market.
So there are two flows going opposite directions in the circular flow model. We're going to begin by discussing the flow of the exchange of goods and services. It all starts with Gary over at his household. So Gary has a lot of land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurial experience, including assembly line machines. He doesn't feel the need to be selfish, so he decides to supply his resources to the resource market and share them with the businesses also known as firms. His factors of production are crucial to the ability to create products or provide services.
Once Gary has brought all his resources to the resource market, they are available for any business to purchase. One banana business is particularly interested in buying Gary's assembly line machines, so they purchase them and utilize them to make bananas more easily.
When the banana business has used the factors of production that they bought at the resource market to produce enough bananas, then they ship off all of their nice ripe bananas to be sold to consumers at the product market.
Now when any individual or household gets hungry, they can take a trip to the product market and buy as many bananas as they could possibly want.
The second flow of the circular flow model is called the monetary flow because it revolves all around money. So to begin this flow, we're going to start over at the resource market. When the banana business bought Gary's assembly line machines, they had to give him something in return. Gary generously traded his assembly line machines in exchange for money.
After such a huge business deal, Gary finds himself very hungry and in desperate need of a banana. With the influx of money that he got for his machines, Gary can now go to the product market and buy bananas. This is an example of consumption because Gary is purchasing a good in exchange for money.
Now the money that Gary spent on the bananas goes to the banana business that he bought them from in the form of revenue.
Since the business just made a whole bunch of money off of their bananas, they can now buy even more resources to make even more bananas. The money they spend on buying these resources is the cost.
All of the individual parts of the circular flow model are interdependent because they all rely on one another. For example, if the consumer spending decreased significantly, then the inflow to the product market would also decrease significantly. This would cause for a large reduction in the revenue for businesses. Therefore, businesses could not pay for labor in the resource market, and households would receive no income. The flow would continue to decrease, causing an economic downturn. This situation works both negatively and positively, demonstrating how each part relies on each other significantly.
Finally, leakages and injections are a major part of the circular flow model. Leakages are any money, for example, in the form of capital or income that exits an economy rather than remaining within it.
Injections are amounts of money being put back into the economy. Here are some of the examples of each.
The first section of leakages and injections fall within government. Taxes are the leakage because when people pay their taxes to the government, that money comes out of their pockets and now cannot be spent on consuming goods and services. That money now becomes indisposable. The opposite injection is government spending because when the government puts money into things like education, infrastructure, and improving technology, they are stimulating economic growth.
The next pair of corresponding leakages and injections are within the foreign sector. The leakage is imports because by buying products from foreign countries, the money within the economy of the country is leaving and going directly into the economy of foreign nations. As a country sells exports, they are providing goods and services in return for money from another country. Therefore, exports act as an injection of money back into the economy.
The last example of leakages and injections is related to the financial sector of an economy. Savings is a leakage because as people save money in banks, it is exiting the monetary flow and it cannot be spent within the circular flow model. The corresponding injection is investments. An investment is when a business or consumer borrows money from the savings in the banks and injects that money back into the monetary flow, thus bringing the money back into the economy.
This is Deborah Aronowitz signing off.